Quintessential Quintuplets Season 2 is finally underway, and while I'm excited to see some of my favorite scenes from my favorite manga come to life, I am more excited to hear some of my favorite voice actors deliver some of my favorite lines from said manga. Overall, I found the production quality of Season 1 to be a little bare bones, and Season 2, while it is adhering closer to the manga, it's still leaving a lot to be desired. The one area where the anime never disappoints and actually manages to improve on what is already a nigh-perfect manga is the voice acting. Both the original Japanese and the English dub by Funimation sport an impressive cast of actors to bring Fudo and the Nakano quintuplets to life. While I will be going from character to character and giving my honest opinions on their performance and picking a winner for each round, I can't stress enough that they are both excellent and you should watch them both. First up is the first sister Ichika, played by Kana Hanazawa and Lindsay Seidel. Right off the bat, I have to address two massive advantages the Japanese dub has. First is its use of honorifics. Honorifics are an important thing in Japanese, and honestly, I wish dubbing studios would just use them. The only dub I can think of that keeps all the honorifics is K-On! I'm bringing this up here because honorifics are an important part in establishing Ichika's role in the story and her general disposition. The second advantage is that the Japanese actors also sing. This is just a common thing in Japan. It seems like if you want to be a successful seiyuu, you also have to be able to sing. Quintessential Quintuplets is one of those shows where the opening is sung by the cast. So if you're not familiar with the Japanese voices, you're not going to appreciate the music as much. As for Kana Hanazawa herself, she is a veteran in the industry. She's 31 years old, and this makes her the oldest of the 5 leads by a few months, fitting for Ichika's big sister disposition. She's most famous for playing Kosaki Onodera in Nisekoi, a series that was a favorite of Gotoban scribe Neji Haruba, and her Ichika is always on point. The characters in this series are far more complex and nuanced than they let on, and Kana Hanazawa captures every single one of Ichika's emotional beats. And with her acting range, she gets to have quite a bit of fun mimicking the other girls when the script calls for it. Lindsay Seidel, on the other hand, honestly sounds more like a teenager, which is the main advantage she has. She's not that much younger than Kana Hanazawa, but she does a good job playing up Ichika's youthful energy and her teasing side.
Wanna find out if girls really do wear yukata with no undies?
Which she needs to do with the aforementioned lack of honorifics. So her Ichika sounds more over the top, and I'm not confident saying her range can even hold a candle to the original. I know she has a lot of credits to her name, but the only thing I know her from is My Hero Academia, where she plays Nejire. Not exactly a leading role. I gotta give this one to the original. The second sister, Nino, is played by Ayana Takatetsu and Jill Harris. This one is a lot harder to critique. Season 1 does not have any of Nino's best moments. She's adversarial most of the time and is callous and borderline obnoxious. On this note, Ayana Takatetsu has been typecasted. Her shrill, piercing voice has led her to play many a tsundere like Kanako from High School DxD and Kotori in Date Alive. Having a solid niche you're perfect at isn't a bad thing. It certainly works to her advantage playing Nino. I just like it when voice actors stretch their wings a bit. Jill Harris, on the other hand, hasn't carved out a niche at Funimation. She tends to get a lot of voice work as background and side characters. This is probably the biggest role she's ever had. The only other ones I even recognized were Lotte from Izetta the Last Witch and Charlie from Hazbin Hotel. I love Hazbin Hotel, but it doesn't really speak highly of your credentials when your second most noteworthy role is a web series. Which is a shame because Jill Harris is really freaking good. She's shown a lot of range between these 3 roles and does a perfect job adapting Ayana Takatetsu's more experienced inflections.
Listen, nobody likes you. So go home already, scum!
I especially love her when she's being cynical. Whereas the original can get grating, the dub version has the stickly sweet mocking tone when she chastises Fudo.
And as punishment for such a heinous crime, I propose he be permanently banned from this apartment.
So I'm going to have to give her the point. Miku Nakano is originally played by Miku Ito, which doesn't get confusing at all, and dubbed by Felicia Angel. Miku Ito is the youngest and most inexperienced member of the cast. Her most noteworthy credits are an idol show I've never watched, and some hero show I've never heard of. As Miku, she perfectly nails her sweet side. You can feel the quiet feelings of love build inside her character as the show progresses.
相手を独り占めしたい。そんなことしない。
But her lack of experience shows in comparison to her English counterpart. Felicia Angel is one of my favorite actresses associated with Funimation. She was Rainier in High School DxD, Emmy in Devil's a Part-Timer, Sayaka in Keijo, and Hagakure in My Hero Academia. I make no effort to hide my bias when I say she is perfect as Miku. Whereas Miku Ito nails precisely one side of Miku's character, Felicia Angel nails every side. Something that doesn't really come across in the original is how mean Miku can be.
頭いいって言ってたけど、こんなもんなんだ。
I thought you were Mr. Top of the Class. Turns out you're all talk.
Felicia Angel does a perfect job playing her soon side up in the first few episodes and her socially awkward side later on.
What is it I'm trying to do?
The intent of the manga was to have Miku slowly fall in love with Fudo, only realizing her own feelings during the bonfire arc. In the original, Miku Ito just switches instantly from being cold to being cute. Felicia Angel is much more believable as the socially repressed girl who has no idea what love feels like and what to do with it. She's hands down the most standout member of the dub cast and wins this round handedly. Yotsuba is voiced by Ayane Sakura and Bryn April. Much like Nino, Season 1 doesn't really give a lot of insight to this character. The one scene I can point to that could make or break this performance is knocked out of the park for both of them.
具合の悪い上杉さんを無理に連れ回して台無しにしちゃった。
And then I had to go and drag him everywhere even though he was sick. I wrecked the whole thing.
Ayane Sakura clearly loves the character and the story. She was the original voice for all 5 girls in a trailer promoting the manga. She's got a lot of emotional range as an actor, having played Tsubaki in Your Lie in April and Haru on Adara Nisekoi. So this makes the second time she's played Kana Hanazawa's little sister. And she was also in that idol show I mentioned with Miku Ito. No wonder the cast has such great chemistry. Well, for Yotsuba, she just uses the same voice she did for Uraraka in My Hero Academia. And you can tell that she loves this character and the story a lot just by how hard she went on her one big emotional scene. Whether Bryn April loves the series or is just very good at mimicking the emotions of her Japanese counterpart is anyone's guess. She's known for voicing Krista Lenz in Attack on Titan and Kotori in Date Alive. I quite like her as Yotsuba, but if I had one complaint, her voice often comes off as too cartoony.
Well, let's go and round up the other girls, shall we?
I don't know if it's just because it's not her normal speaking voice or if it's a direction thing, but she's probably got the least pleasant voice out of the main cast. Not to criticize her inflections or talent, that complaint only holds water when compared to the original dub. Like I said from the outset, there isn't a single significant misstep across both of these casts. I just prefer the Japanese voice as well as the aforementioned use of honorifics. And once again, honorifics are a major part of Yotsuba's character, and their omittance does her dubbed lines a great disservice.
上杉さん上杉さんやっとこっち見た。
Wrapping up the main girls, we have Itsuki Nakano, voiced by Inori Minase and Tia Ballard. And this was the hardest matchup. They are both just so good. More than anyone else in their respective casts, they really elevate their scenes to a level the source material just can't match.
見ませんでした。私確かめたくって。
Listen, I'm sorry. I just needed to make sure, so...
Though, once again, it's difficult to accredit the dub version to Tia Ballard. Inori Minase gave the best performance of the original cast hands down. Merely mimicking that performance was more than enough to make Tia Ballard's Itsuki a better performance than most of her co-stars. Inori Minase is another prolific voice actor who's got no shortage of iconic roles. She's most well known for playing Rem in ReZero, but I know her more for playing Princess Cialis in Sleepy Princess, Sophia in My Next Life as a Villainess, and Tamaki in A Place Further Than the Universe. So she's got range to say the least. Even so, this role was meant for her. Despite not being much like the other characters she's known to play, she fits into this role like a well-tailored suit.
それを拒否したのはあなたでしょ。いやいや相手されるなんてごめんです。
And she obviously loves the source material and uses her knowledge of the manga to do things that weren't really in the script. Take this scene for example.
わかるんですね。今度の中間。
She knew going into this scene that it would be later revealed that only those with love in their hearts can tell the difference between the 5 girls, and the whirlwind of emotions that come from Fudo seemingly recognizing her and then shutting her down come across perfectly in her inflections. Tia Ballard also nailed this scene.
You can tell, huh? Look, about the midterms.
She's also demonstrated some range, having played Yoshino in Date Alive, Seraphol Leviathan in High School DxD, and Zero 2 in Darling in the Franxx. While she perfectly captures every emotional beat Itsuki has in Season 1, there's only so much you can do to improve on an absolutely perfect performance. So I have to give this point to Inori Minase. Finally, we have the main man himself, Fudo Uesugi, played by Yoshitsugu Matsuoko and Josh Grell. Yoshitsugu's resume speaks for itself. He's been in more leading roles than anyone I know of in the industry. He's Kirito in SAO, Sora in No Game No Life, Adata in Trinity 7, and a ton of other things. And while he might be well suited as Fudo, he is a little restrained. Fudo has a bit of a temper, and his original VA just doesn't go over the top as much as he could. It only brings down a small group of scenes, but the complaint still stands. He might be too perfect for the role, and he might be phoning it in a bit. Josh Grell, on the other hand, loves to go ham.
What the hell? Why is nobody in here?
He's become quite a prolific actor in his own right. He's Tyrion in Ruby, Mao in Devil's a Part-Timer, Tokoyami in My Hero Academia, Shido in Date Alive, Armin in Attack on Titan, among a multitude of other roles. He mostly uses his normal voice, which can be a little flat.
Anything your sisters can do, you can also do, Miku.
But when it comes to showing emotions, go big or go home. His screaming voice is a lot more screaming than his counterpart, and the result is a more fulfilling performance. This also leans into the best thing about this dub, the natural chemistry. Funimation reuses the same actors a lot, and so they really know how to play off each other in full. While the 5 girls in the Japanese version have natural born chemistry that just shows every time they're on screen together in interviews and other things, their chemistry with the main lead, while definitely there, just isn't as rich as the chemistry on display in the dub. So the final score is tie. Yeah, I did say at the start that both of these are really good casts who really know what they're doing. It's really just a matter of general preferences. Do you prefer cuteness or cheekiness, honorifics or your native English language? Being able to just listen, or are you okay with reading a bit? I know for me that I'll be watching both versions anyway as they come out. I'm Mediocrity4, thanks for watching.